Alexander Hamilton, one of our 12 founding fathers, a father of 8, and a husband, though not very loyal, but we'll get to that later. Now, it's very likely that you've heard of the famous play Hamilton, addressing Alexander's life and legacy, but the play will not be used as a source that I have collected information from. I'm going into the research blind and will only use Hamilton as good background music. Alexander Hamilton came from Nevis, an island in the Caribbean which was under British rule at the time. Hamilton's parents were Rachel Fawcett and James Hamilton. James abandoned the family when Alexander was a boy, leaving Rachel and her sons impoverished. She eventually died of illness in 1768 at the age of 38. At age 12, Alexander worked as a clerk in a general store. He was very smart and an excellent writer in English and French. His aunt saved up her money and sent Hamilton to New York so he could go and get a further education. He ended up going to King's College from the end of 1773 to the beginning of 1776. Alexander married Elizabeth Schuyler, the daughter of a prominent New York general and politician, Philip Schuyler. They ended up having 8 kids, 7 of whom lived to adulthood and 3 of whom had children of their own. Philip was born in 1782 and died at 19 years old in 1801 in a duel against George Eaker, a duel that would eerily foreshadow Alexander's famous death at the hands of Aaron Burr. At one point, Alexander was in an affair with Maria Reynolds, an affair that would later ruin his chances of becoming president. Let's get on to his political life. Hamilton was a New York delegate to the Constitutional Convention in 1787. He became the Secretary of Treasury from 1789 to 1795, and he urged for a strong central government. He studied law and was admitted to practice in July of 1782. A few months later, the New York legislature elected him to the Continental Congress. Hamilton wrote 51 of the 85 Federalist Papers alongside John Jay, who wrote 5 before falling ill, and James Madison, who wrote 29. Even though he became the leader of the Federalist Party, probably due to the fact that his party did support his policies, he became the head of the party in order to get political support and leadership in the executive branch. Hating Jefferson, the Federalists wanted to throw the election to Aaron Burr. Hamilton helped to persuade them to select Thomas Jefferson instead. By supporting his old Republican enemy, who won the presidency, Hamilton lost prestige within his own party and virtually ended his public career. In the end, he was killed by Aaron Burr in a duel. He was shot between his ribs, and he was rowed back across the Hudson River. I would draw this part, but I love this illustration of the duel. They're a little funny looking, and Aaron Burr's squat stance is golden. Here's a more likely situation. Hamilton is holding his ribs where he was shot, and dropping his gun from high up because he was aiming it towards the sky. And that was the life of Alexander Hamilton, from beginning to end.